fucking made friends. I'm a grown man. You sent me a message first, yeah? I live in Smethwick, Birmingham. If you want the fucking brawl, come down Smethwick, ask for Danny G. I'll come out of my house and I'll break your fucking legs, you little prick. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm fucking saying? Shut up, your fucking voice box out your phone, son. Come to Birmingham and I'll fuck you up. Come to Birmingham now and I'll fuck you up. I've told you where I live. You want to know where I live? I live in fucking Smethwick. Now come and I'll kill you.
Baby, now I got the flow, 'cause I know it from the start. Baby, when you broke my heart, that I had to come again and show you that I'd win. Your love of mine. All those times I said that I love you. Your love of mine. Yes, I tried.
You know, it's a good thing soon is an ambiguous word. Because this video came sooner in the late tense of the word than I thought. I made those preserves in the previous video and they turned out good. They kind of had the inverse effects of what was intended though. The mango plantain one turned out to be the more neutral one. Fuck. Hey, there's a lizard over there. Rather than the tamarind one. The tamarind one ended up being less tangy and like a base-like thing, and more so of just a jelly or a jam on its own. But I digress. They're both good, they both can be eaten on their own, and both I have tried and turned into salsas on my own time, and they were both good. So what I'm doing in this video is I'm going to be making some hot sauce. That's right, I'm making hot sauce, folks. Here we got our ingredients, you know. Got a vast array of things that I'm going to be putting into these sauces because I want them to have something that y'all lack, and that's called depth. It's a good way to get views on a video, right? Insult your audience. So, gonna be making a more smoky one with the habaneros and the pineapple versus the tangy garlicky one that I'm going to be making with the fermented jalapenos that I have. I made those jalapenos back in, I want to say, early October of 2019. I've had a couple containers of just random vegetables and things fermenting and pickling for a while, so I have a pretty good variety of options. I've got some serranos, jalapenos, and some onions that I'm going to be throwing into these. Like preserves, hot sauces need to be able to, you know, have a shelf life. So instead of using sugar like we did with preserves, we're going to be using salt and vinegar. Little note from the future, I ended up putting too much salt and vinegar in my sauces. I ended up diluting them later on and everything was fine, but yeah, don't use the same measurements for vinegar and salt that I did, even though I just eyeballed it. So let's get all this stuff cut up. It's gonna take a while. Remember to crush your garlic, folks. They say that there's like chemicals in it that causes them to bind and shit, makes it whatever. I don't fucking know.
Nice catch.
I'm going to be throwing some morels into the habanero one as well, because morels are probably one of my favorite things on this planet. So I'm not going to be putting all of the vegetables and accoutrement in the vinegar and brine overnight, because I really want these specific flavors to stand out. Also, I'd like to point out that because I'm not a fucking coward, I'm going to be leaving the seeds and all the pith inside of the peppers inside of the sauce, because, I reiterate, I'm not a fucking coward. So because I'm going for overall different just flavor profiles with the two hot sauces, with the habanero one, I'm going to be browning and cooking the garlic and the onion until it gets a really nice dark color on it, because I want it to have a really deep, smoky flavor, you know? It needs to really bring out the death factor.
His last victims.
Let's get it cooked. You gotta reduce all that liquid content in there so that we can get this thing down to a consumable thing that's really descriptive, Gunner. The further I get into it, you know, the more painful it becomes to inhale. So I recommend some sort of facial covering, because, I mean, capsaicin vapors are not very forgiving. Day 3, here we are. Wow, never thought we'd make it. Now that these flavors have all been doing their thing together in the fridge overnight, let's get these boys blended up. Let's start off with the mango one. Get that poured in there and get every last drop. You can add a little bit of water, which I do because I put way too much salt in it. Would you look at that? Hot sauce. That wasn't too hard. It's the same deal with the preserves, where you can add more water if the stuff in it isn't, you know, breaking down quickly enough. So, you know, add as much water as you need, just boil it down. Unlike the preserves, where you need more of a gelatinous consistency, you want to get hot sauce down to basically a paste, as much as you can when we still haven't blended it yet. Hey boss, remember that guy Tony we hired not too long back? The guy that was gonna work in the kitchen? Well, he finally whipped up a sauce. Well, if you don't like the sauce, I have no problem making Tony get lost. Because if it isn't up to these standards, I can always make Tony going, you know? What do you think? Good? I tell you, Tony, there's a mealworm right there. I could feed that to my tarantula. What's it like being just so pathetic?
You suck! You're no talent! If you really had talent, go practice!
I guess I wasn't feeling okay. I felt that space and time went back and forth and sideways. I'm putting out fires all over the place. I guess it knocked me sideways. Oh, she made me go uppercase and underlined. We are as prickly as a couple of porcupines. I'm putting out fire.